Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got the massive Tamiya Porsche. This is the 1/12 scale, is in their big series of kits. Porsche 935, the Martini edition, and in that classic markings from the 1976 World Championship. It's huge. As I say, we all know that obviously Tamiya's 1/12 scale kits are sort of legendary, but it's nice to see this one back because this is an absolute gem. So, somewhat going round on the box, I don't know how we're going to quite do it here. As you can see, this is a huge kit. You get lots and lots of stuff in this one. So you get lots of photo etch. You can see you've got your markings down here like that. I don't even know how this is going to fit in, including photo etch parts. You can see just down in there. So your kit number for this one is basically, I don't know which one they use, it 16800 or it'll be 12057, whichever way you can do this one. The markings, again, the legendary. You know, it is that 70s thing with Martini. It's really nice to get the actual correct markings onto them. And as you can see, this totally immense kit. So, what are you going to get for your 150 odd pound kit? Well, let's have a look. So, in the box, if we can get in here. There we go, we're in. Is that going to stand up? I have no idea. Let's somewhat try and prop it up. There we go. As you can see, this thing is immense. Straight off the bat, to give you a bit of the size of the thing, there we go. That's the main body parts just down in there. And then, if we go through these, and then obviously we'll go through each bag, we've got multi-coloured bits. So we've got metal bits, we've got red bits in there, we've got black, we've got this funny colour, whatever you'd call that, in there. Okay, we have got a couple of tyres. I'm hoping there's a few more. So we've got some tyres down in there like that. Again, giving you an idea of the size of this thing. There's the shell. Very nice on the bottom of the chassis. There you go, some more tyres, bigger ones. Okay, and then obviously we've just got various bits just down in here, as you might imagine. Some of these are bagged within other bags, so it's all in giant sets of it. And again, we've got other ones just down in here, and we've got engines, we've got hubs and grille parts. This is the one that keeps giving. We've got a sheet with obviously all your parts, bits on there just like that. We'll look at that in a moment. There's that lovely photo etch, obviously with the brake discs, what's the grills, the various parts in there just like that. That's very nice. Hopefully decals, which will be buried in here. We'll have a look at that in a moment. We've got a couple of information type sheets, and obviously we've got the instructions. So let's try and make some room somewhere. Okay, so to start off with, we'll have a look in the old instructions. Usual thing, we've got information on how to build a plastic kit, fair enough. Okay, and then working your way right the way through. Obviously, Tamiya colour call-outs in here. There's going to be lots of different bits and pieces to take off and add, various things going on here, as you imagine. So it's going to get quite complex. Some of the nice details down in here, we've got measurements here for drilling holes and various parts in this one. Talks about using the quick super glues as well, with the photo etch parts being fitted down in. And really lots of it going through here. Right the way through, we've got handbrake cables that are going in. Obviously, we've got the pedals and obviously the pedal grips, things like that being fitted in there in photo etch. All these photo etch parts and everything that are making up the actual racing harness. And all the parts down in here, as you can see, that's a work of art literally of its own. We've got the seat being fitted in, and then obviously we're going to have all the harnesses fitted onto that and going right the way through. Then you're working down here on the sort of the floor of the chassis, things like that, as that's going right the way through. And then, as you might imagine, fully detailed. You've got all the sort of, you know, suspension, drive gear, all the rest of it going down in this one right the way through. So fully detailed. I think that's the easiest way to explain this one right the way through. Shocks, workable shocks as well. So you do have distances and various things to put in to make sure you're all in there and it screws in fine, and bolts just like the real thing as they're fitted in the top. Then we're into the engine. So you've got the power plant actually going down in there as well. It's actually quite nice because the instructions now call out for all the LP paints, which is really nice as well. It's talking about obviously using XF16, but obviously LP38 is far better. So you definitely want to be using your LP paints down in here. Fully detailed right the way down. We've got the distributor cap being fitted on here, going through all the various parts, as you imagine, into this one, going in here. We've got the cooling duct system in at the top, that very famous, looks like a spare wheel, bloked in there. So that's in there at the top, and then obviously coming right the way down into the huge system of like the V12s. Okay, so again, beautiful work right the way through. And then obviously going in, imagine all the cooling stuff, all your various parts being added in to get the power plant fitted into this one. Then you're into the dashboard, again, fully detailed right the way through. I don't think it's workable steering, is it? I'm just looking in here because it's talking about not painting anything, so it could actually be workable steering. I don't know this kit that well, so I'm just doing it from a reviewing point of view, but it does look like it does have workable steering, which will be quite clever. Okay, so we've got all of that going in if it does. Okay, and then literally we've got batteries and various things being hooked up in here. We've got radiators, we've got roll cages going in, then we're into the headlights, got the front splitter, all the various things being fitted on there, those side ducts as well, pushing it in there. And then obviously we've got the spoiler going in at the back. We've got the headlights, tail lights, various areas, as you might imagine, going all the way through on this one. You do have actually, we've got the ducting measurements. So these are 1:1 scale, so it's nice and easy to follow on this one to go all the way through. So that's very nice. Door cards, obviously windows, all your various bits you might imagine for the doors being fitted down onto this one. And then it's just finishing off then by going through, and we've actually got the wheels and hubs being done on this one. Bonnet system being fitted in obviously at the top, and then wheels on, clear parts going down in there and everything else as well for the lights. And then finally you've got screws and nuts actually holding on the actual wheels themselves. We've got the aerial being fitted on at the top, and we're good to go. There's the fantastic markings in the Martini. As I say, very much a classic 70s thing. Beautiful work on there. And then obviously we've got another one on this side as well. Wow. You know, again, if you've never done the big stuff, then it's sort of legendary, the detail that goes into it. If you've ever worked on their bigger scale bikes, for instance, you'll know how, you know, they go together very mechanically. You know, we often talk about from an engineering point of view about, you know, kits and the mechanics, and it gives you a good little learning curve how they go in real life. This is definitely one of those kits. As I said before, for easy reference, you do get a parts sheet as well with all the parts in it down in there. And again, take notice of this down in here because these screws are normally 1:1 scale. So you can just line up your screws to make sure they fit in there and various things like that. So that's quite handy. And then we've got these two. So having a look at these decals, they should, if I can get in, come on, let me in. These are done by Cartograph. We won't worry about getting, well, we will do in a sec. But as you can see, absolutely gorgeous. Really good quality, solid colours. And to be honest, that's what you need on something like this. Okay, and then we've also got, I can get in, we've got this one here. And you've got your Martini Racing with the Porsche ones and all the various smaller parts, and you've got your beading and your various things in there and your dials and all stuff like that. But it's really nice to see you've actually got genuine. Many times we see on these where they'll do a misspell or the logo will be slightly different because of obviously, you know, we've got branding on this one and trademarks and logos and things like that, and it can be a thing. So we've got Bosch down in here, and obviously with the Martini and the other one, so it's really nice to see those giving you the correct, to say you got your options number 1 or 3 as you go right the way through with these. But again, we often talk about how Tamiya decals are very thick, but don't forget these are Cartograph, so they're not. So they're actually really very, very nice indeed. Okay, so let me just move those out of the way. We've also got this, which not a lot of point getting it out of the packet because it won't be any difference, but you've got your photo etch. Tamiya photo etch tends to be quite thick, but it's normally flat, so it doesn't make any difference. It's not like you need to bend it and stuff like that, okay? So from that point of view, I think you'd be absolutely fine. So you've got your racing harness points down in here. This is what's going to make up these to be the racing harness. And obviously we've got the details down in here for the brake discs, for all of those. And then obviously we've got all the grills and the various things. Got your pedals down in here. And so pretty much everything you need just to add those sort of touches to it. We've also got, and I won't bother getting this one out because we'll look at the other one, but a bag of screws, as we've seen before. We've got all the vinyl hoses down in there. We've also got the suspension springs. They are all down in here as well. Okay, so really very, very nice. In here, and we will whip one out just to have a look, we have the ducting So this is this ducting, which is absolutely fantastic. As I say, this is your air ducting, and it is, to be honest, just like the real thing, and it crimples even just like the real thing if you pinch it. Okay, a couple of things to do with this. You can actually put in some like lead basically into this one, or some copper, so it keeps its, so it doesn't pinch. So you stops that and it will keep it like more like that. Okay, so it keeps it out. So a quick tip for you there. The tyres themselves, they do have a massive centre seam running right down through them, but to be honest with you, they all just need a bit of a clean and a wipe off. What I would do is attack this with a sanding sponge, okay, and just take this off. There's a couple of tips with it. It's very soft rubber. If you cool this down in a freezer and then do it, it'll be easier to sand, or you can literally just put a Dremel onto it or something else like this to take this off. You want to scuff probably this tyre up to make it look a little bit more realistic, and then obviously going back through the finer grades, you could put more of a polished feel to them, a sticky tyre onto it, so to speak. But you do have quite a gnarly, quite a nasty seam in there. There is no trademarking or anything sort of into these. I think they are probably going to be a decal onto it. Although saying that, I don't think it is. So I don't think they've obviously got the licensing to put on the tyre markings onto this one. But generally, they are very nice, and that ducting is absolutely beautiful. Really very, very nice. And you've got all the details for cutting it to the correct length as well. So if we start in here, what we have is a very, very large, as we can see, body. To give you an idea of the body, we will sort of mock this up a little bit, but there we go. That's the body. It's quite small, quite thin, got a lot of glass work going in here and stuff like that, so it is a little bit flexible in that. We do have the odd, and I'm not going to lie because I've spotted it straight off the bat, and a little bit of sink mark into it. So you might notice we've got a little one just down in here on the A-frame, and there's one on the other side as well. Okay, so there is a little bit of marks into it. The rest of it looks very, very nice indeed. But hopefully you can see there on the close-up, just those little ones can need a smidge of something in there. It's very unusual for Tamiya to do it, but it's a very complex shape to get out of a mould, as you might imagine. So no real problems with that. And then because we can, we'll have the front end out. Okay, to give you an idea what's going on in here with that front splitter and everything on there, just like that. And obviously these will probably screw down for putting the bonnet onto it, but you do have all the details in the front, even though the power plant's at the back. So again, very, very nice. And then just to mock this up from a size point of view, that's how big your car's going to be. So, you know, you are looking at, if I do a quick measurement check here, around about 36 centimeters long. And again, something very, very nice about that when you see it in the scale of how it's going to be. It's going to be one hell of a big lump, as you can see. Okay, but this is the big scale series, so that's what you come to expect with it. Very nice indeed. Down here in the box with these, we didn't see them before because they are covered, but we have got the light shields and we've got the lights in here like that with the Pharrell type lenses down into these. Obviously no LEDs back in those days. Okay, so that's those. We've also got the seat, which to be honest is probably not a lot of point getting this out. Looks pretty standard. We've got the cushion. Obviously the harness is coming up, looks very nice. Interesting colour of plastic. I'm sure there's definitely a reason for it, although I can't see why it would be. But we do have that part, which I have no idea what that is. Okay, so that's in there. So anyway, those were tucked underneath here. So that gives you an idea what's going on in there. Right. Next piece up I'm supposed to look at will be in here, which again is another good idea of sizes. God knows where I'm going to put all of this. But there we go. That's the sort of bottom of the chassis, the various details under here. And again, I can't see any shortcomings in there. I can't see any sink marks. Obviously, quite cleverly, you've got ejector pin marks in amongst this. So you can't see what's an ejector pin and what's not. Got this bit on the back, but generally, as you can see, it looks very, very nice. And again, this is proper, rigid, solid. It's a thicker plastic. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, quick look on the other side. Looks pretty good indeed. Okay, so honestly, I don't know where to start. It just seems to be the one that keeps giving. Right, okay, let's pop in here. Okay, so I think we're going to have to try and find a way of going through these. So this is sprue B. Looks pretty good, as you can see right the way through. And then I think if we run up top to bottom like this, you can see we've got the various parts running through down on here. So we got, I think that's the firewall. Looks like the firewall there. And some of the other details right the way through. Looks all pretty good. And then on the other sides, looks very good indeed, no problems. Okay, funny creamy coloured plastic. Right, okay, I'm grabbing at things because I don't know where to start. There's that much to go through on this kit. It's just bag after bag after bag. I think we're going to have to cut our way into some of these. Okay, let's pop that there. Again, we've got these funny, I take it this is the fuel tank. I'm sure there's generally a reason, and I'm sure loads of you will point it out to me, of the reason whilst it's in this colour. But again, straight in here, we can see they've got the fuel tank, some of the fan equipment, and this funny colour, sort of resin coloured plastic. Again, looks all pretty nice. We've got the battery down here. Battery terminals are very nice with the cells. And again, all looks pretty good. No problem at all. You can see the machine tooling down in here. To be honest, it looks like it's done by hand. It's the way it is. It's not symmetrical. It's very random. So again, that's those. We've got the lights. Not a lot of point going through these. So obviously you've got the red and the orange lights just down in there like that. In here we've got the roll bar, or your safety cage, I should say. And again, there's a little bit of burring. Going to need to whip round, I think, and do it. It's not terrible, but it has got it on it. So you probably want to take care of that. But again, looking on the close-up, you can see it doesn't look bad at all. All the parts in there like that. Looks very nice. Okay, some of the metal-y coloured parts, which I hope that's not. No, it's not. Sorry. I thought, to be honest, that was a massive ejector pin mark showing through, but it's not. It's nothing to do with that. But as you can see, this is sprue K, and it's got these metal colour ones down all on here like that. And obviously the brakes don't look too bad just like this, but we have got upgrades for photo etch onto those, so that's not so much of a problem. Pretty much as you'd expect. Very nice indeed on the blind side. That's pretty good. Right, whilst we're in this area, let's do this one here. So in here we've got the, try and work this into some semblance of order. Okay, so this is sprue H, as you can see, doesn't look too bad. And then down in here you've got the steering wheel, we've got the wheel hubs, multiple part wheel hubs those will be, and then some of the grills, we've got the dashboard, and obviously some of the pockets and things running on this. Looks pretty nice, no problem. These are the headlights and things, so yeah, pretty good. No problem. Typical Tamiya. The ejector pins are visible, they are there, but to be honest, they're quite tucked away, so that's not so much of a problem. Okay, engine. Okay, so here we are on sprue C, and as you can see, some nice detail in the engine. That flywheel's very nice. So very, very nice indeed. And obviously the casting from the body, there's that gorgeous engine coming up through. Very, very nice indeed. And again, there's a few little ejector pins around, which I don't think they're going to be proud or anywhere in the way or anything else like that. It should be absolutely fine. But generally, pretty good stuff right the way as you make your way through with these. Okay, let's do this one. So this is the front bumper area and the front or rear. No, this is the rear, I think. This is the rear bumper. You can see on here with the parts. Got a couple of sprue tabs to take care of on here where it's come off. That's pretty good. The giant whale fin for the spoiler coming off the back like that. It's pretty darn good. Very nice indeed. No problems there. Pop those back in there. Okay, still giving. Another giant pack. So now we know we can't get in that way. Okay, so multiples in here. To be honest, I don't think we need to get that one out. As you can see, car doors, those look absolutely flawless, and the bonnet. So no real problems with those whatsoever. That looks all pretty good. Obviously the doors can be opened. So that's good. Going to show off all that nice internal detail. The clear parts we'll just have a quick look at. Make sure we are clear. Oh yeah, that's clear. That's crystal, absolute crystal clear. No distortion or wobbling or anything with any of that. So that's very, very nice indeed. And because it's so nice, I don't want to ruin it. So we'll put that back in its bag. Okay. Wheel hubs. Again, we've got different types on here. Thought we just had the other one, but you never know. Okay. So again, all pre-done. As you can see, very nice indeed. It's pretty good. There's the bolts for the wheels. And again, on the blind side, they all look very nice. Actually got a very nice metal colour. Sometimes, you know, you often look at these and you think, oh God, they need spraying. But those actually don't look too bad whatsoever. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, some more of the spoiler we were looking at a minute ago. So, as you can see, just down in here, that's pretty nice. So there's the back of the spoiler. On top of the spoiler, we've got the aerial running down the side. Some of the in scoops and things like that. So that's very, very nice indeed. Okay. This is that vinyl stuff that's flexible and bendy. There's not a lot of point getting this one out, but you can see these are all the leads for the engine. So they're the HT leads running right the way through. We've got soft, looks like door cards for it as well, but this is that rubbery stuff, which is great. Okay, so very, very nice to see those as well for some of the wiring details, things like that in there. Then we've got this one, which we can get in. Tamiya must go through a lot of staples every year. Okay, so sprue N, as you can see, some very nice. This is obviously the workings for the steering, and obviously all the smaller parts down here. We've got distributor caps, all the various things coming off of it. Some of the steering, the anti-roll bar, things like that down in here. That's pretty darn nice, all of those. Again, you know, we often talk about expensive kits, but 157 quid this, but wow, it feels like you're getting a lot of plastic. More metalwork, as we can see down here on sprue L. Very, very nice indeed. Tons of detail. Is that flash? Actually, what it is just a little bit of burring, but on the camera you see it closer than I do. It looked like flash. I think it's just a little bit of burring. But again, this is the trouble. You need to take care of the burring in this scale, and then you're going to lose the plating, so you've got to repaint it anyway. But if anything, that one looks a little bit like it could do with a paint job. But LP paints are beautiful for their metallic range. If you haven't used any of the new Tamiya lacquer paints, metallics, seriously, they are very, very good. Don't think for a moment they're anything like the old ones, because the old ones were just horrible and gnarly. The new ones are fantastic. Okay, some more of the chrome parts. So we've got the back of the lights, mirrors, things like that in there as well. Rear view mirror on sprue E. And I think that completes it, just about. There we go. That is one hell of a kit. That's a lot of plastic. Again, this is one of those ones we often, or have been speaking about recently on a lot of the flooring model shows about the price of kits. And some of the manufacturer ones we've been doing reviews recently, and you look at the amount of parts and the quality of it, and they are around this price, £150, things like that. And you immediately think it's not worth it. Honestly, This is Tamiya. This is the Tamiya Big Series 112 scale. You can see the size of this thing, but the quality is oozing through with all the parts. Also, it's fully technical, as I would call it. So you've got all the parts down into this one to make it. There's then fully detailed engine, transmission, steering, cooling, obviously interior and exterior right the way through. There's a lot going on with this kit. So at the end of it, you're not just going to have the shell, the look of a Porsche, you're actually going to have a Porsche with all the intricacies and all the details in it as well. So you'll be able to display it, as I say, doors open, close, bonnets open, close, back ends, things like that, and you'll be able to see a lot of that detail into it. So don't think you're building it and you're never to be seen again. Luckily for us on this particular kit, you're going to see it all. So again, very, very nice to see that. Wow. Simply wow. If you are into the bigger scale stuff and stuff like that, this will be an absolute must for you. You know, even if you're not into cars and something else like that, and you want one of those projects which is moving along, that's getting close to RC, this is definitely for you. So there we go. That is the Porsche 935 Martini 112 scale by Tamiya.